Hey family, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tadero Tagad. For those of you who are new, thank you so much for joining me for this video and word of encouragement. Today I wanted to share with you something that happened last night, and I know that it is going to be of use and of help to somebody out there, because this is something that is bound to happen to you or has already happened to you if you have gone through a season of change and transition in your walk with God. But first, we're going to start with the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verses 21 through to 24, which read, "When you heard about Christ and were taught in him in accordance with the truth that is in Jesus, you were taught with regard to your former way of life to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, to be made new in the attitude of your minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness." Family, what this word is saying, that the moment you gave your life to God, the moment you decided that you're going to walk in the footsteps of Jesus, basically, that your life was made anew, then the teachings of God basically led you to now, or are leading you to let go of your old self, to let go of your old patterns, your old behaviors, your old ways of being and moving in the world, right? Because those old ways were corrupted by deceitful desires. They were not of God. And through those teachings that now you are experiencing in God, you are made new in your attitudes of your mind. That means your way of thinking is now different from your old way of thinking. You get that? You are now moving in this world a new person. Just like Romans chapter 12 verse 2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This is to say that when you find yourself in a position where you are faced with worldly things, right? And there's nothing wrong with worldly things, but they just shouldn't be running our lives. We need to be living our lives as people who follow God, who follow Christ, in a way that is in accordance with the word. So when you say, "I am a new creation in God," right, as the Bible tells you, then your old ways of doing things no longer apply. And often when we are going through a process of change and transition, right, of like stripping off that old self, because it has been such a huge part of our lives for however many years, it will take time for it to go away. It will take time for us to completely strip it off, right? But through prayer and through faith and through owning this new attitude that is put in us in God, from God, then we are able to slowly transition into the new selves that God has created us to be. Now, last night, I was feeling down before I went to bed, and to the point where I nearly talked myself into not praying. And I was justifying in my mind, like, what's one night of not praying? I mean, I pray every other night. I really don't feel like praying. If I could just get into bed, it'll be fine. And then I'll just fall asleep and tomorrow will be good, right? And that was my moment of weakness, my moment where I wanted to go back to old patterns. And I thought to myself, if I allow the devil, if you go down to verse 27 of the book of Ephesians chapter 4, it says, "Do not give the devil a foothold." And I thought, if I allow myself to go to bed without praying, that is giving the devil a foothold, where I will also fall into a pattern of not praying. Then what's next? What other things am I going to start talking myself out of doing because I don't feel like it? And this, family, is something that I wanted to encourage you on deeply. That when you find yourself, and if and when you find yourself in this position, to stand strong and firm in your journey, in your path. Every little bit counts, because God is watching. God sees all. Even in the moments when you don't feel like doing something, get yourself to do it anyway. Because when you start, God will help you with the rest. God will take you further by that little bit that you are willing to give. And when you feel like you don't have the strength, ask God to give you the strength, because He will give it to you happily and willingly. It's all in your heart. Family, I pray that this word has been encouraging to you. And I pray that you stand strong and firm in your faith and in your journey with God. Until next time.